The desert night was silent when the video arrived. No warning, no explanation, just a shaky, grainy feed forced onto a secure line. My daughter, 16 years old, strapped to a chair, tears carving lines down her face. 7 masked men circled her, laughing. One pressed a blade beneath her chin. Another read out their demand. $500,000 within 48 hours or she dies. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just watched, memorizing every voice, every movement, every careless slip of detail they thought they'd hidden. Beside me, my general stood with arms folded, his tone calm and deliberate. Sergeant, you've got a week of classified training back in the States. Make it look like an accident. No hesitation. No speeches. Just orders. 2 hours later, I had their addresses. They had 40 hours left to live. But the true betrayal wasn't the kidnapping. Not entirely. It was what I uncovered beneath it. The deeper I dug, the more obvious it became. This wasn't random. They didn't just stumble onto my family. They were guided. Someone handed them my name, my daughter's school, my schedule overseas. The betrayal was inside the wire. And betrayal cuts deeper than any knife. You expect enemies to come for you. You don't expect your own to light the way. Every lead I chased pointed to the same truth. This wasn't just ransom, it was leverage. A message, not only to me, but to the general, to the institution that owned us both. They wanted to prove we could break. But they chose the wrong man. I studied them quietly, relentlessly. Phone traces, utility bills, cars parked too long in places they didn't belong. The 7 weren't professionals, they were scavengers, drunk on the idea of quick cash, blind to the storm closing in. But behind them was someone sharper. Someone whispering in their ears, convincing them the Navy SEAL in the desert wouldn't dare touch them. They didn't know me. Not really. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I moved like a ghost, following every thread back to the hand that tied it. And in the moments when rage burned too hot to swallow, I thought of her. My daughter's eyes. Her laughter, once free, now threatened with silence. They thought fear would freeze me. It only sharpened me. The truth snapped into place 28 hours before their deadline. One of the men, drunk, careless, bragged on a recorded call. He slipped a name he never should have. And just like that, the shadow behind the curtain had a face. Not a stranger, not an outsider. A man I once trusted. A man who wore the same uniform I did. He had sold me out. For money. For leverage. For reasons I no longer cared to hear. I printed the evidence, phone records, transfers, messages dripping with contempt. That night, I placed the proof on his desk. No words, just the weight of truth between us. His face drained. His lips moved, excuses, denials, desperation. I said nothing, because silence is heavier than anger. The men who touched my daughter never saw the dawn. Each death deliberate. Each moment planned. Each last breath quiet enough to never make the news. But betrayal demanded more. It demanded precision. I didn't confront him with fists or bullets. That would have been mercy. Instead, I laid the proof where it would hurt most, before the general, the board, the very people whose approval he had built his career upon. They read every word, every number, every undeniable truth. By noon, his rank was gone. By evening, his name was ash. I passed him in the corridor as security escorted him out. His eyes begged for recognition, for anything. I gave him nothing. My daughter is safe now. She doesn't ask. She doesn't know. And she never will. She smiles again, but softer now, touched by shadows. Once innocence is stolen, it never returns whole. Sometimes I wonder if mine ever did. The men are gone. The traitor erased. And the silence between me and the general says more than words ever could. But the storm inside hasn't quieted. It waits. Because in those 40 hours, I learned something. Trust is fragile. Loyalty is currency. And betrayal is the one debt that never clears. They thought they'd taken my daughter. But in the end, I took everything from them without even raising my voice. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And make sure you subscribe to my channel for more stories.